So look, I think Corey's on those yellow-walled medium tyres. That's not what I wanted to do. He is. So Corey, Ogween, Elite, Sem, Snipes, Connor and Midzi all start on the medium compound tyres. Paraquicks at the back of the pack. Starts on the softs, Simba.
Yeah, well, I'm not too surprised, but it's quite surprising to see Midzi go for the medium tyre. I think he definitely wants to try and be a bit more aggressive to get his way up the field. I've got Snipes on the softs. No, I've got Paraquicks on the soft, sorry. I'm not surprised. Expect to see some dive bombs from this guy. I mean, I had a few close run-ins with him in a social race a while back in Spain, and he just kept on dive bombing me for no reason, but I'm expecting nothing different, really, from McLaren. He's starting last. He's got nothing to lose.
Yeah. Para likes to get in amongst it and is a pretty bold overtaker, but you kind of have to be sometimes. But yeah, a very quick formation lap. Obviously, it's a short track, so 35 laps around here as Corey starts to slow the pack down a little bit, as F1 drivers obviously lost some ground during that formation lap that we haven't seen, or that I missed what's going on. But yeah, this should be a fairly interesting one. Might come all the way down to the checkered flag. Differing strategies for the top two drivers. Well, kind of split between in the top six. Split in the top 10 actually. 5 drivers in the top 10 starting on the mediums, and 5 starting on the hards. Corey has pointed his car all the way to the right, trying to go for that straight line. Andres has missed his marks on the grid, so is V2. Here we go then. We wait for the 5 red lights to come on. Here they go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're off, and we are underway. It looks like Corey's got a decent start, and he's just about ahead. Jam looks like he might be sneaking down the inside, and McLaren down towards turn 1. He has a little look, but just has to back out of it. Tries to go around the outside, and Ogween is still there side by side. Corey's comfortably clear. But here comes Jam, right tucked up on the back. Is Ogween going to sneak down the inside? He tries down the inside. Yellow flag in behind, and that is V2 who's gone off, and they're still side by side in the background, and there's already a virtual safety car. And we can breathe already as the top few drivers are, and the top 6 drivers stay the same. Snipes up 3 positions. What do you see there, Simba?
Well, I mean, Corey with a great start, he definitely needed that, because then he was on the medium compound tyre. Jam looking pretty aggressive as well on the start, but he maintains P3. Ogween still P4. I think he might be a little bit frustrated at that, because, you know, he's on the mediums, you would have a better getaway than the hard runners, and unfortunately he couldn't clear Jam, so that might frustrate him quite a little bit, because I think for his strategy to work here today, if he wants to still have a chance of winning this race, is to stay as close to Corey as possible before making that stop onto hard tyres. So yeah, I think we're going to get going again as all the drivers go through the chicane. Hopefully no one puts it on the wall.
Jam had a poor. Midsy's got damaged. I think Stan left the session, so if we could try and get him back in. But yeah, Midzy in the pits already, along with V2. Jam's had a little moment on the restart, so he's already under pressure. Trying to get those hard tyres up to temperature is very tricky. And he's already under pressure from the Aston Martin driver of Ogween. F1 driver trying to stay with Corey out front. You want to stay as close as possible so that he can come back at Corey once he's fit to mediums. Here comes Ogween. He's going to go down the inside of the chicane. He has a little look. He sticks his nose in there. Jam leaves him space. They're still side by side on the exit. And Jam stays ahead for now. But Ogween is certainly looking fairly aggressive at the moment. He's right on the back, coming up towards the chicane. There, make a move here. No, he sticks in behind and waits a little bit longer. And he gets a decent run through the chicane. And he's Jam defends to the inside, so here comes Ogween, which turns to the outside, and then Ogween takes the position. He is up to third place on the medium compound tyres, and he's now going to try and look ahead towards F1 driver.
I can imagine the relief from Ogween when he managed to get past the Ferrari. He had to use so much ERS down the straight. He's probably running a little higher wing than a Ferrari, but finally he's through. He's got clean air to push into, and the next car in front of him is on the hard tyre. And look at that gap he's already built up to Jam already, and he overtook him a couple of corners ago. So Ogween still going to get a move on here. And before the race started, I was going to try and point out that this race can be won on penalties. This is one of the worst tracks for track limits around here on this game and in league racing in general. Yeah. So watch out for some early penalties, watch out for some warnings. Some of these drivers will be definitely on edge for the next 32 laps, making sure they get as least warnings as possible. Apparently Jitto, yeah, he's got no front wing, and has another VSC. I think, is that a full safety car or?
I think VSC, there's no safety car. Sem and Ray Stroller were fairly close, and I think Sem just has got ahead. But yeah, another VSC. So yeah, that's 2 VSCs already. No full safety cars, just for debris coming out as Para Quicks enters the pit lane for a front wing change as well. Obviously there was quite a few front wing changes last time out in Baku.
Yeah, there was.
It seems to be the order of the day once again. Yeah,
there was quite a ridiculous number of front wing changes.
Oh
no, Turner's just got a drive through for speeding on the VSC. It's, you know, it's one of the most basic things. I know it's one of the most basic things you can do, but it's easily done, especially with the Delta on this year's game. And Turner, unfortunately, he's already qualified 16th, and now all of a sudden he's got a drive-through penalty. He was already down in 13th. It was already going to be quite difficult for him to get back into the top 10. And unfortunately, his life has just been made a lot harder thanks to that drive-through penalty.
Yeah, it's not going well for Turner at the moment. Ogween trying to catch F1 driver. F1 driver just falling off the back of Corey at the moment. So he's trying to push further and further clear of the guys behind. Connor has retired from the session.
Yeah, he's had enough. He just got overtaken. He just got overtaken by Bobbies for P11, and he's sped into the pit lane without a care in the world, and he's had enough. Connor. Oh yeah, I thought I was he's literally just retired. Never mind. But
yeah, I think that's
a
case of let's say case of. I mean, there's so much time left in this race. Obviously, he had a penalty as well to his name, but I mean, yeah, he's kind of just given up pretty much. But each to their own. That's a shame for Connor and Alfa Romeo. And it looks like Jam is. I don't know if he's going to get DRS here. Power quick because of a 3-second time penalty. As Connor's car eventually goes off down at turn 3. And Jam does sneak a bit of DRS, so he'll close the gap. And the gap at the moment is 2.3 seconds and rising out front. The gap between Ogween and F1 driver is down to 1.5.
Yeah, so Ogween looking to close down on the McLaren of driver. He scored a podium last time in Baku. He's currently in the top 3, trying to be as close as he can to Williams, because that gap will become very, very important by the time he pits for the medium compound tyres, if there aren't any safety cars involved in this race. So it's very important for him to keep the pace going as it is right now, to have a lot less work to do by the end of the race. But he's been handed down by that championship leader, who's once again in the top 3. And you said earlier, you know, he's had a bit of bad luck so far this season, but he's still got a comfortable lead in the championship. And right now, Ogween looking to solidify that gap even more by outscoring his rivals, as he's almost in DRS range. He's just a 10th away, which is going to really frustrate him as well, as Jam is still got DRS on the Aston Martin. But this DRS train could go from second all the way down to P8 maybe, I think down to P7.
The F1 driver picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's clearly trying to push, but doesn't have the pace of Corey out front, and it's going to be ever so important for Ogween. I think it's inevitable to get in that DRS range, but it's going to be important for Ogween to make this really quick. To try and keep tabs on Corey out front if he wants to go and win this race. And is he going to get that DRS detection point? I think he's just missed out actually, because the detection point is down at turn 5, and he was already was over a second back then. But there is a train of cars behind Ogween, all the way down to P9, and the detection point is. Well, we've gone through the detection point. I think he's got there enough as Jitto is going slow, but it's back out again. And he seems to be fine. Has Ogween got that DRS? Is it going to open? He has it. Open DRS, and Paraquix has spun off. And he hasn't lost his wing. So that's good. But Elite Risk is struggling here. Andres is actually really close to the back of the Ferrari. There's Bold Beast and Stan swap positions. Is Andres going to have a go down the inside? No, he's not. He's getting closer, but not close enough, as Ogween is right at the back now of F1 driver. And those mediums coming into play now. But the more this race goes on, the harder it will be to overtake on those mediums compared to the hards.
Yeah, so this is definitely the time for Ogween to get a move on and get this move done. Meanwhile, Corey out in front needs a penalty. He's cleared. He doesn't really have a penalty clear of driver right now. 3.3 seconds right in front. He is loving life out in front. He's doing what he needs to do, building that gap as much as possible as Sem gets that time penalty. So we've seen 4 drivers already getting past the 3 warning mark with a penalty that would definitely compromise their races, as Ogween now once again, like it was with Jam, using the ERS PRM here, looking for gain in on the McLaren. Surely this will be the move for P2, and it definitely will be. Driver's still going to try and keep it in there, but Ogween gets the place. But driver is going to try and fight back here if he can, but I don't think he's going to fight too hard, as the championship leader, SLR Ogween, moves up into P2, and that is exactly what he needed to do for his race, and he can go chasing after Corey.
Yeah, Corey 3.8 seconds clear, as you can see him coming through in the background, Ogween, and he's just, yeah, it just seems calm, not much going on. Now he sees Ogween there. Will he try and give it a little bit more, because he was extending anyway, but he might be pushing hard as it is to keep this gap. Has he pushed too hard is the question, and yeah, we'll see how good these mediums can be. This is a train obviously behind, and can Ogween give us a little bit more pace to try and close that gap? They seem to be fairly similar in his first couple of sectors. But yeah, Ogween trying his best to catch up, but he has plenty of drivers behind who want that position.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it depends if Ogween can shake them off. The defense on his own race. Drivers completely missed the chicane there. That is a huge mistake, and that is going to really punish the McLaren driver. And he moves across as Elite Risks tries to overtake him. That's a little bit dangerous there. I don't think Elite Risks will be too happy about drivers driving there, as he was on the verge of losing a 4th position there. But for now he's in P5, but I think that'll definitely be an inquiry for the stewards, because last time I checked, you can't just move to the left because, you know, the car is coming up right behind you.
Yeah, a little bit naughty from F1 driver, moving over at last minute. Elite had to back out of it, and that wouldn't look favourably in the eye of the stewards, but we're still both in this race, still both got all their cars. But yeah, F1 driver going deep at the chicane and having to take the escape road, going around the bollard, which he obeyed, but he's lost a few positions because of that. There's a Mercedes down the inside of Elite Risks. There's a Jitto. Was that Jitto? No, Andres was ghost for a second. I wonder if he's tried to have a go at F1 driver. So no, F1 driver's got past Andres. So I wonder if there's something going on there. Yellow flag behind, and it looks like Turner's spun round. He has. So there's a lot going on, and here comes Sem side by side with Elite Risk. Down the inside he goes. And they're still side by side through turn 2. Sem's going to try and go the long way around the outside. We struggling to go around there, and he has to back out of it. His red light was flashing as well. He's tried to make the move, but couldn't in the end, and stays in 8th. Race Stroller is dropping off the back of this train at the moment. Currently doesn't have DRS.
Yeah, so that's going to frustrate Roller because he's so close to DRS as well. I think that's going to be the worst part. But going back to Elite Risks here, he was on the verge of getting P5 and he made a mistake at turn 9, probably out of frustration there. And as a result now, he's lost a few more places. So, yeah, Elite Risks probably driving with a bit of frustration right now, and I personally can't blame him because if that happened to me, I'd be fuming on stream. So, yeah, Elite Risks not really having the look that he needs to try and gain places in this DRS train. As, yeah, drivers dropped out of DRS range of Jam as well. So Jam can now start to get a move on his hard compound tyres. See if he can open up a gap and see if he can make the overcut work by the time he gets to the end of this race. As Sem is looking to gain on Elite Risks, but I don't think it's to any avail as they go through the first chicane. So right now, just keeping the status quo, but I think Sem will definitely be knocking on the door to try and get 7th place.
Yeah, Corey at the moment is extending his advantage to Ogwin, so does have a bit more pace than our championship raider, but Ogwin has 2nd place comfortably at the moment, but they are on the medium tyre, and those guys on the hards will try and go longer, will try and come back at the cars ahead of them on the mediums, but Corey has opened up a healthy gap out front, and he'll just want to try and focus on keeping it in the track limits now and avoid getting any penalties. As the yellow flag in sector 1, I think that's Turner who's spun round once again.
Yeah, he's having a sorry time, and that's another
it's a
VSC.
VSC.
This could be interesting. Corey and Ogwin have missed the pit lane, so no one's going to take this opportunity to pit under the VSC. It was basically a free pit stop here. The two leaders, even Elite Risks and Sen, have all missed the pit lane, so I find that quite interesting because that would have been a free opportunity to go into hard tyres, but
Liam,
what I do is to
just to interrupt you, Liam has said rain in 5 minutes.
Oh.
So that's probably why they have not come into the pits, and probably why there's been a bit of a mix of strategies. Some chancing their arm at the mediums, some at the hards, but there is rain in 5 minutes, says Liam, who, well, I don't know who he's engineering actually, but probably a few people. Yeah, so we didn't know there was going to be rain, of course, and now we do. A couple of drivers down the back who didn't have a front wing, being Turner and Jitto coming into the pits. Turner's put on the softs, and Jitto coming down the pit lane will put on the intermediates. Interestingly, well, I mean, it was raining 5 minutes, the track is bone dry, and he's decided to retire anyway.
Yeah, so
Jitto's had enough. It's not going to come out on intermediate tyres, as Corey is almost lapping the back of Turner and his teammate V2. So yeah, with the rain coming, we didn't even know there was rain coming. That's going to potentially turn the race on its head. Yeah, obviously we know certain drivers are better in wet conditions. Can they claw? I mean, you can claw back time in the wet. Sem picks up another time penalty, which is not going to help his proceedings, and I think he spun around as well. He has. Sem has gone into the wall, and I think he's lost his front wing. He has lost his whole front wing.
No, I literally tried to say that I hope he scores points, and now he's in trouble. Because I want to raise up here that, these guys on the mediums, they've probably had to manage these tyres for quite some time, but now they're going to have to make sure they get to the wet period where it's too wet for dry tyres. So now these guys on the mediums are going to be in a bit of a pickle because they have to drag these tyres for as long as possible before the rain shows up. And as a result of that, you'll probably lose a good second.
Here comes Andres. Oh, and Andres has spun off the side of F1 driver. He went for a move down the inside, and F1 driver has squeezed him towards the curb, and Andres has spun around and got a 3-second time penalty for good measure. Sorry to cut you off there, but they were just
no problem.
making a move. As Sem has retired in the pit lane. But yeah, Andres has just gone for a move, and he was there. He was basically almost fully alongside, and well, now he's down to 8th after trying to make that move.
Yeah, don't worry about
F1 driver kind of in the wars there.
Yeah, don't worry about cutting me off there. I mean, that was a key moment. And oh, Power Quicks had a spin.
Well,
at the head. That confirms the lockdown.
More rain updates. Liam said it should go back to dry. Also, rain is 2 blocks. The key thing about this rain period is that it's going to be very difficult on worn mediums compared to the worn hards, most likely. But I mean, at this current moment, everyone's tyres are quite worn. The top 10 haven't pitted yet, so yeah, most of these drivers' tyres are going to be fairly worn. So yeah, let's watch out for possibly a few frills and spills going around. But yeah, Corey has lapped Paraquicks now, and yeah, he's soon to lap his teammate as well. He's up the road, and also, and the rain has come. There you go. It started raining. Para has spun and hit the wall. He's still in this race, but the key thing here is Simba. Corey's teammate V2 is ahead of him and could go into the pits ahead of him.
Yeah, that is actually that is a great point there, Mercs. He could literally jeopardise his own teammate by simply just being in front of him and nearly a lap down, because the double stack on this game is quite painful. So they're going to have to manage that somehow. Hopefully, for Corey's sake, you know, his teammate doesn't interfere with him and Fulby gets his first penalty of the day. The rain is starting to fall, but as you said earlier, yeah, the wet conditions are a bit tougher to deal with on worn medium tyres. So surely this could be an opportunity for Jam to try and catch Ogwin as the rain is starting to fall here.
Yeah, gap is 4.3. It's just come down a little bit in the last few laps, but expect that to change dramatically as a few drivers will struggle in these conditions. Some will excel in the lower grip conditions. You see Corey goes wide at the chicane, but he's going better than Ogwin behind at the moment, and he seems to be managing the gap well as Jam is dropping off the back of Ogwin as well. So it's varying fortune to Stan in the pits, Paraquicks in the pits, as DRS is disabled, as yellow flag as Turner has crashed on the exit here. Is there going to be a safety car or not to nullify this race? It doesn't seem to be coming out as there goes past Turner's car, and no, nothing on offer there. Andres and Race Roller going side by side. Let's have a look here. Race Roller looking this way and that, as Andres comes a bit slow off the exit. Paraquicks. Oh, there's contact between Andres and Race Roller. V2's coming to the pits ahead of Corey, as there's a safety car come out.
Now this is going to change the game here. And who is going to take advantage of this? Corey's being held up in the pits.
Ogwin right behind him. Who's going to come out? Corey comes out ahead, and I think Corey has just come out ahead, and wow, he was probably, heart was racing there, but this has nullified the race and has brought back in absolutely everyone who's V2 has survived, not getting lapped as well.
But there's a bit of surprise here. I just realised it here.
Snipes says,
Snipes has gone for softs.
Well,
no.
V2, Liam said that it should go back to dry, but at the moment it is very wet. So, yeah, Snipes has made a mistake. Mitzi is going to come and get a nice. Maybe Mitzi can make a comeback here. Still get top 5 is on offer. He's 11th. Yeah.
A huge window the window of opportunity has been opened.
Yeah.
And we're halfway through this race. We're about to reach the halfway point. Mitzi with a lifeline here. He's down in P11, had damage on the first lap. And now, all of a sudden, he's been presented with a huge opportunity to get back into the top 10 and hopefully, for him, probably score some points here today. So it's not over yet And remember, in Division 2, we have 5 safety cars. It's the first one at the halfway point. So,
Yeah,
could be, yeah, I think.
I'm not sure what Snipes really thought he was doing. Liam says rain will last 10 minutes. So yeah, Snipes needs to get in the pit lane.
Yeah, Snipes with a huge mistake there. I mean, that is a horrendous mistake. There is a rule of thumb in Formula 1, and that is
No, he's going to stay out.
The right time, and you're staying up. Why are you staying out? What's this?
This is not going to end well.
If he literally he would have been ahead of Mitzi. But I don't know what on earth is going through this guy's brain right now. Get your brain cells together. It's too wet. It's too wet. What are you playing at? Like,
yes, the rain will stop in 10 minutes, but that's another 5 laps or so. Well, more than that, but yeah,
five
7 laps, 5 or 6 laps in green flag conditions where the inters will be easily faster, even more than that. So, I mean, we'll probably be on dry tyres in the last 5 laps, maybe, but dry tyres now is a criminal decision.
Well, Merc, so there's a rule of thumb in Formula 1 and especially in league racing as well. You have to be on the right tyre at the right time. And the right tyre to be on at this moment in time is the intermediate. And Snipes has decided, I'm just going to go around for another lap. He could have easily come out ahead of Midzi, or be close to Midzi, by the time he came out of the pit. But instead he's going to throw away a chance to be in the top 10 because he's decided to stay on soft. I do not understand what he's going through this guy's head. I don't know what he's doing here. You know, like,
Yeah.
what's going on? What are we looking at?
I'm not too sure, but in terms of the race, Corey was comfortably clear, and this may have thrown a spanner into the works for his race. He's led every lap so far.
Yeah, I think he's
fastest lap yet or not.
He's definitely going to be annoyed as Snipes finally pits. Yeah,
finally, thank God. Oh, Stan's coming to the pits as well.
Yeah,
Mitzi, Stan has retired.
You might have to destroy your race there, Snipes. But back to Corey. You know, that's probably going to annoy him a lot because he was like 5 seconds clear of Ogwin, and now that lead has been destroyed with the safety car. And now also that has allowed Ogwin to maybe put pressure on the Williams driver, you know, pressure that wasn't there at the start of the race. And now Ogwin has a really good opportunity to take the lead of this race and maybe go on to win his 3rd race of the season.
Yeah, so after all that, Snipes does come out ahead of Midzi, because Midzi pitted again for a fresher set of intermediate tyres. Hopefully the safety car comes in at the end of this lap. We don't need to see the tyre graphic, so we can look at the position changes. Bull Beast up 6 places, does have a penalty to his name, so we'll wait and see where he finishes. Midzi now up 5 after his earlier mistake. And Ogwin up 2. The safety car is in this lap, and V2 will have to get a move on to try and catch up. But here we go then.
I'll imagine he'll catch up. You know, he's not too far away. Corey's bunching up the field in the 3rd sector, so I think he'll just get to the back of Midzi as we get the minute we get going in this race again. But 15 laps to go. But apparently it's going to dry up again. It could be a very interesting race. I think this order will definitely get shaken up by the time we get to the end of lap 35. But for now, Corey is going to lead us away.
There we go. He's going to go off the final. Oh, there's a little bit of a moment off the final chicane, but I think Ogwin hasn't really had a great restart himself. V2 kind of just tailing off at the back, but he is there or thereabouts in contention for some points paying positions. We have 11 runners left. And now in the wetter conditions of the intermediates, and how will these drivers manage it? Corey's had an excellent restart as we have the 2 Red Bulls going side by side, as Snipes is going to try and go around the outside of Bull Beast. He's dropping position. Here comes Midzi now down the inside of Snipes, and he's made a position up into 9th place as Jam is right on the back of Ogwin, and Ogwin really has not had the greatest of restarts. Yeah, Corey is over a second clear.
Yeah, Midgy with a very opportunistic move there, looking to make his way up the field, trying to do what he should have done on the first few laps, as Ogwin really struggling right now. Sorry to cut over you there. But yeah, Jam looking to put pressure on the championship leader. These guys in the top three do not have a penalty, so this is for position. And this is also to stop Corey from running away, because he's already 1.3 seconds clear off the Aston Martin. The Jam is probably in the same position Ogwin was at the start of this race. It's just urgent, race critical for him to get past the championship leader.
The two Red Bulls are going at it. No team orders here. They're really close to each other, but they're losing time to the drivers in front. But yeah, in terms of the championship, Corey's not in it at the moment. He's a long way back at the moment, but Ogwin obviously ahead of Jam, and this is important in the championship to try and close up, but Jam has made a bit of a mistake and he's dropped a little bit back, but he's still within touching distance, and it might all come down to the pit stops. There's a yellow flag in sector 1 and Snipes has gone and made a mistake and he's lost a little bit of time. He's had a little bit of a moment there and he's dropped back to the back of the pack. And let's have a look what else is going on around. And they're all just kind of following each other at the moment. Jam has just dropped off the pace a little bit and is struggling at the moment. And there's a train forming behind him. Oh, as F1 driver gets a little bit of a moment on the exit, and here comes Elite Risk then. He's going to try and have a run, but F1 driver with the better straight line speed quite clearly is pulling away.
Yeah, that is quite the emphasis on straight line speed. The Red Bulls are still going at it. They're side by side going into the chicane. And because of that, Roller has a penalty. He doesn't get good drive out the corner. Bullbees get through. And now Mitzi is going to get through as well. Going into turn 1. The Red Bull is really struggling here. And Mitzi goes right round the outside. Overall, it will turn to the inside for turn 2. And that is a wonderful move from the reigning Mckeon Division champion. A brilliant move up into the P8, and he's trying to get a move on here. These two, I don't think they like each other very much after season 7. We don't talk about that, especially if you're talking to Minty about it. But yeah, he's made the move, and he's up into P8, so top 5 is definitely on the cards, and he's not going to get after the second Red Bull of Bull Beast as well for P7. So Midzy definitely still in this race. The 4 cars in front of him have all got penalties. So right now, he's in a net P4 from 15 on the grid. So Midzy really putting in a solid shift on the controller around this track, not getting a penalty. Can he keep it that way?
Yeah, he's certainly looking good at the moment. And also looking good is Elite Risk on the back of F1 driver. Is he going to have a look? He thinks better of it and going down the inside there. Looks like he's trying to get a good run out of the corner, and here comes in the slipstream. Is he going to go have a look down the inside? Looks a bit too far back for a move at the moment, and F1 driver stays ahead, but the top 2 keeping each other. Ogwin is keeping Corey honest at the moment out front. Corey's definitely had the pace over absolutely everyone, but yeah, Ogwin is looking very good at the back, and yeah, if this rain continues, well, we might see a tussle in the rain, but yeah, we are expecting this rain to stop at some point in the next 5 laps or so. We'll wait and see if that comes. There's Mitzi on the back of Bullbeast at the back of this train. He doesn't have a penalty. He wants to get as high as he possibly can, and yeah, if he can get through this pack of cars. Jam is there without a penalty for him to try and overtake, but that is a long way away for our reigning champion, as Andres goes deep in the hairpin, and that's going to allow Bullbeast to have a go, but ahead Elite Risk is in the slipstream once again. We know that F1 driver's got good straight line speed, and that is showing still. He's not going to have a run down here, but is he going to have a run out of the chicane? F1 driver absolutely sends it in there, and he should be safe for now.
Yeah, driver absolutely sending it there, while Elite Risk was taking the slow and fast out approach that you would normally have, especially in these conditions in particular. Though unfortunately for him, it doesn't quite work out. for the Division 1 champion as Combat is down to P11. I think Snipes managed to overtake him or fend him off to P10. But Elite Risk is still right behind F1 driver. Is he going to go for a move down in the turn 6? No. Midzi, meanwhile, gets past Bulbies for P7, so he's definitely getting on with it. That's another place gained for the reigning champion. But yeah, Midzi definitely coming into play here in these final 10 laps. It's actually mad. Like, I didn't even realise we're on lap 25. The race is pretty much going by at the minute.
So we've had a weather update again, and Liam says 20 minutes of heavy rain. So that's completely changed, and you can see the puddles starting to form out on track. So will they have to go to wet tyres towards the end of this race? We'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, as Elite Risk has gone a long way off the racing line there. He's had a little bit of a moment, and that's allowed the Haas driver Andres to sneak past, and he is ahead going into the chicane. And Andres up into the top 5 once again. And the track is getting ever more tricky as Corey has extended his advantage out front, and Ogwin currently settling for second place. And he's trying to maybe stay within 3 seconds, might be the game, but Corey's certainly still going a lot quicker.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He's really in control out in front. As I think Elite Risk will definitely be very frustrated with this Grand Prix so far. I think he'd be thinking that he'd be within a chance of fighting for a top 5, maybe even a podium, because remember earlier, F1 driver moved across his line while he tried to overtake him, and then he's just made that mistake as well. Maybe in Elite Risk's world, maybe he'd be right behind SLR Jam, fighting for P3 right now, but instead he's finding himself in P6, and he'll get demoted to P7 with the penalty if Midzi continues to go penaltyless throughout the rest of the race. So Risk probably might be driving with a bit of frustration right now, but he's still got time to turn this around. Jam has really dropped back from the top 2 as Corey's in a world of his own right now. 4 seconds. He's rebuilt that gap he had earlier before the safety car came out. The driver is looking to get back up to P3.
Oh, it's a bit of a mistake on the exit of the chicane from Jam. Is he going to defend? He's going to try and defend to the inside. Driver's going to try and sneak up the inside here into turn 1. He goes for a little bit of a lunge.
That's really close.
My God, a little bit. Was there a bit of contact there maybe? He's sliding through turn 1. Jam is really under pressure at the moment as they all queue up in behind, but F1 driver still can't get past. He was so close, but too far away. He goes wide, does F1 driver, and he's had to cut the track, and he's come back on track Sebastian Vettel style, but didn't have to squeeze anyone at that moment. And yes, the track is starting to maybe just transition into that wet weather condition. And well, do the drivers decide to pit? We'll have to wait and see, but they're all squirming all over the place. You can just see them struggling. And here comes Andres on the inside of F1 driver. No straight line speed so good. Elite Risk goes wide and has to cut the chicane for good measure. And here comes Midzi. Is he going to get past Elite Risk? And he's up into 6th place.
There's contact. Midzi's off.
No, is he going to stop?
Can he avoid everyone else? There's contact with the Red Bull and Elite Risk. That is a disaster. What on earth has happened there? It looked like he passed the Alfa Romeo and he's just gone drifting off into the grass, and he couldn't get away back on the track, and he's got a penalty, and that would definitely go to the stewards. As Midzi now, his race has been compromised. He was the only driver in that train without a penalty, and now he's going to have to pass everyone else if he wants to get a top 5. So our prediction might not come true. He gets past Bull Beast anyway. But what on earth is going on here?
No idea.
These conditions, they're definitely getting worse. And he's driving, he's got wide again.
Struggling.
And he's struggling. He's really spun off there through turn 2. And yeah, this
they've got to put on the wet tyres. I don't know, but I mean, it seems like Corey and Ogwin seem to be fairly fine with it. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything wrong with Midzi, if he's got any like rear wing damage or what. But I didn't quite see what happened because I was on board with Midzi at the time, and then he went careering off into the grass. But yeah, this is all coming crazy town at the moment, and Jam is still ahead. The rain is lashing down as McLaren goes off the track of F1 driver, and there's Andres going to get past He's going to have a little bit of a run here. They're all over the road at the moment. The conditions are so tricky. Andres is trying to look round the outside. He goes deep, goes a little bit on the grass. He's ridiculously wide, and Elite Risk is going to sliver up the inside. He's going to have enough traction on the exit. It doesn't look like it. Oh, there's a little bit of contact. And it's trying to go side by side down this straight. Jam is going defensive. He's weaving a little bit ahead. They're side by side, and Chicane. Andres backs out. And Elite Risk makes the move for now. But here comes F1 Driver on the back of SLR Jam. Is he going to have a move down the inside? No, he's not. They're going so slow. The rain comes down even heavier
Rollers
at the moment.
In.
They're all...
Rollers in. He's taking the chance.
Yeah.
He's going to wets.
And can he gain enough time? You've got 6-7 laps to try. And F1 Driver's down the inside of Jam. They make contact. Oh, they're all over the road. They're almost free wide. What is going on? I can't even see through the fencing. As they come out the fencing, Elite has made up a position on Jam. And F1 Driver is ahead. And the conditions are so tricky. They're sliding through every single corner. Here comes Elite on the exit. The conditions, keep an eye on Race Roller if he's going to gain some ground on the rest of these drivers. And the gap is about 11.
Andres is off!
Oh,
and
no.
so is Full Beast!
Oh, Midsy's got front wing damage. I didn't quite see what happened. And it's a safety car.
And we've got another safety car here. It's all kicked off here. And again, that 6-second lead that Corey had over Ogween finished. Gone.
Is he coming to the pits is the interesting question here.
Yeah, surely.
He does. Yeah, he does.
No shenanigans behind him would not have happened if it wasn't for the conditions getting worse and worse. But Jam is the biggest loser here. He was P3 and now he's down in P5 after some argy-bargy action going on. It was great to see Mitzi have got no front wing and some of them are staying out. Jam's staying out here, so he's going to take the gamble, and I think he might lead this race on track.
Stays out.
Riz has done it as well.
Let's have a look at Corey. Is he going to take the lead? Corey is still in the lead, but Ogween is down into... Oh, he's behind Snipes. I mean, I think the wet tyres are the way to go, but... Well, yeah, I think the wet tyres are the way to go for him at the moment, but... This race has kind of gone all over the place. I mean, the battles behind from third downwards, I mean, they were all over the place. It kind of suggested that the intermediate tyres were struggling in these conditions. So we'll have to wait and see who made the right decision. But Corey, who was led from the front, has got another obstacle potentially in his way. Yeah, he still keeps his lead.
I think the thing for Corey is he's got Elite Risks behind him and Jam and Snipes behind him. He's got 3 cars behind him that are on intermediate tyres. So Ogween's going to have to clear all of them in the next 5 laps if he has any chance of winning the race. So what these intermediate guys now need to hope for is that the rain gets, it calms down a little bit and they'll have the tyre advantage again. But I don't think we can even call who's gonna get the podium here. It's anyone's game for the final 2 podium positions. I think I can guess who's gonna win the race. I think we can as well, Max, based on how he's been driving.
Yeah, Snipes has again come into the pits late, but he's going to drop right to the back. F1 Driver's coming to the pits as well.
Oh my days, no. I'm done. I'm done with Snipes. He's gone on Inters again.
Oh, well.
Oh
I mean, I don't... Oh, F1 Driver's come on Inters as well.
What are you doing, guys? What's going on?
What? I don't... I'm not sure. Well, we can't really judge conditions here, but... Snipes changed his front wing. Stayed on the intermediate tyres. F1 Driver's come in for a pit stop under safety car onto the intermediate tyres. I honestly don't know what's going on at the moment. I feel like it's the wet tyres at the right tyre, but maybe they're seeing something else.
I don't know, maybe the conditions might get better. Maybe, if Snipes gets points here today, I think he has bragging rights over me, because I've had a go at him twice for not being on the right tyre at the right time, because surely the wet tyres are the quicker tyre. And we'll definitely find out when this race gets underway again. Hopefully we get going away get going at the end of this lap, as we've got a hell of a 4-lap sprint coming your way to end this race in the Mckeon division. And there we go, safety cars coming in. Mercs, this is going to be good, mate. This is going to be very, very good. 4 laps to go. Corey leading the race. He's just got to hang on for 4 more laps.
Is it the wets? Is it the intermediates? I mean, this could go either way. Can Corey stay on the track on these wet tyres? It's going to be oh so difficult, surely. The wet tyres are not used that often. And is the rain just stopping a little bit for those behind? Currently, Corey is in the lead and has been ever since the lights went out. Has been ever since he set his first lap of Q3. He's going to come through the final chicane to get us underway, and now we can see the true mettle of everyone on this grid, and we are underway. And Corey's had an excellent restart, and is Ogwin going to have a good run here and trying to make that move? It seems they're all over the place, as Ogwin's going to try and go right round the outside of Jam. Jam's struggling for traction. It's clear to see that those wet tyres are so much better, as Corey is comfortably here. Ogwin's up to 3rd place. Race Roller is up to 4th place. He hasn't been really anywhere in this race, and he's up to 4th, as Ogwin's going to go down the inside of Elite Risks. Where's Race Roller going to go? Is he going to have to back out?
Risk is struggling a lot. Look at the kerfuffle going on behind them.
Oh my word,
it's
they're almost
insane. Andrews gets through. Always gets through. Jamming's all over the place. He's off the track.
He's off the
for goodness sake. He's going to be overtaken off the track. Mitzi gets past both of them.
He's going to go around.
Kicking off here in Canada.
Side by side into the chicane. Elite goes so deep into the chicane they barely stop the car. I'm not sure why they say they stayed on intermediates, but that's what they wanted to do. Here comes Andres side by side with Elite Risk now. Mitzi has made that move on traction on the exit of the chicane. He's got to bide his time. Mitzi almost goes into the back of Elite, and on the exit as Corey leads by 2.3 seconds out front. It's Race Roller now in 3rd place. Here comes Mitzi down the inside, has a lunge down the inside. Elite keeps it in there, goes wide, understeers off the track. Got to watch out for Bull Beast. They're almost 3 wide on the exit, as the Bull Beast does make that move stick, and he is up into 6th place. And it's all going on at the moment, but the top 6 drivers all on the wet compound tyres.
Yeah, Elite Risk has been absolutely swamped here. He's going to be absolutely fuming. I honestly believe that a top 5 was on the cards for him here today. For the reigning Division 1 champion, Bull Beast gets a little bit loose there on the exit of turn 7. But yeah, honestly, Elite Risk has had a really tough day in the office here, and it's one of those days where things just don't go your way in league racing. And he's found out the hard way. But Andres is not going to get past Race Roller. Race Roller, remember, he pitted before everybody else. He's up into P3, Merc. So there you go. The rule of thumb has come into play here in these closing stages in this Canadian Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Aubrey has cut the gap down to 1.6 seconds.
Wow. Well, the race is on to the checkered flag. I said it might come down to the checkered flag before the lights come out, and the gap is now down to 1.5 seconds, and we don't know who's going to finish the race on top. At the moment, it is going to be Corey. He has the track position with 2 laps to go, but can Ogwin put him under pressure and take this race and snatch this race right at the very end? Who's going to take that final place on the podium? And it could be either one of these 3. As Andres picks up another time penalty, so it may not be him. It might be between Mitzi and Race Roller here. And at the moment, Andres is...
That is going to get really frosty.
Yellow flag, and F1 driver is out of this race. And he's spun on the exit of turn 5. And that has not gone his way at all.
We've got a penalty.
Oh, Ogwin's got a penalty, and he was going so well. And it's just come all wrong at the end. And unfortunately for Ogwin, he won't have a chance to go and win this race unless Corey makes a humongous mistake at the end. And it's all kicking off at the moment.
Yeah, with driver retiring, I think Jam was literally on the verge of being in big trouble and potentially falling out of the points. But now he's P8, All he needs to do now is just keep it on the road. He could benefit from some penalties in front of him. He just needs to keep it on the road for one more lap on those intermediate drivers. Driver has left the session in, pure dismay. I mean, you got to feel for him. He was literally running in the top 5 a while ago. He got in the front row, and he's not scoring points. Andres, meanwhile, he feels like he's got absolutely nothing to lose, and he wants to get P3 on the track.
This battle's going to go down to the checker flag. Elite in all this has got back ahead of Bowl Beast, and he's cutting the gap down. Oh, as Andres has retired on the exit of the chicane, and he is out of this race. And he was looking good for a top 5 finish, and it's all gone wrong on the final lap. Meanwhile, Mitzi is going to hunt down his former championship rival of Race Roller for a final place on the podium, as they're coming through into the hairpin now, as Elite Risk is in the top 5 at the moment, but he's all over the place with Bolbies. He's having a battle as well, and but all eyes.
Bolbies was struggling earlier, despite being on the right tyres, but he's going to try and reclaim P5 here.
He's going to try and have a go. Mitzi is all over the back of Race Roller, but this race has been about one man and one man only, and that is SLR Corey. Finally, after a long last, he will take a race victory here in the Mckeon region. He wins the Canadian Grand Prix from ahead of Ogween. Race Roller does take 3rd place in this race ahead of Mitzi. Ball Beast will cross the line in 5th, but Jam will take 5th place in this race ahead of Ball Beast in the end. And it all came frenetic and all over the place, but it is SLR Corey's day from start to the very finish. He wins the Canadian Grand Prix.
What a race. Unbelievable finish, but SLR Corey with absolute domination here today. He's been in a class of his own. Ogween did give him a little bit of a scare towards the end of the race, but it didn't matter. Corey had it in the bag, and finally, he is a race winner in Season 9 in Canada, and that is absolutely well deserved. It was definitely the best driver on the grid here today, and that is a well deserved 25 points going towards the Williams team and SLR Corey. Brilliant victory. Ogween P2, and he again consolidates that championship lead he has going into this race. So a good result for Ogween. I know he came close to winning, but I'm telling you now, Mercs, there are definitely going to be some drivers who will be absolutely fuming. There will be definitely some drivers who would have been thinking what could have been with this race. But the final result of it all is that SLR Corey is your race winner. Ogween is 2nd. Roller on the podium, despite struggling the entire weekend. He gets a podium, just the Season 7 champion. Mitzi just misses out after a chaotic race from his perspective in P4. Jam is 5th after being on the Inters. Combat was nearly a lap down, and he finishes 6th. Ballby 7th. Elite Risk with the data for getting 8th. Snipes in 9th, and Andres is still classified as P10, but I'm not sure if he'll get a point for it. But what a race!
Yeah, that was breathtaking in that final half of the race. Mitzi with 4 stops finishes in 4th place. I mean, that I almost lost for words at all that was going on. What tyres were people on, and it seems that the Inters were coming good at the end, but there was only on the last lap by that point. So there we go. The wet tyres were the right tyres to be on, and we have all 3 drivers in the party. And Simba, if you will do the same as we did last time, we'll do you do 3rd and 1st, and then I'll do 2nd place. So you want to get us underway with our 3rd place driver, Race Roller.
Well, Race Roller, I can't even say your name properly. Wow, brilliant. Congratulations, that is P3 today. The pace didn't seem strong at all, but you've managed to make the right call at the right time, and you've earned yourself an unlikely podium, so talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I didn't have much pace in anything. I didn't think I would actually get into Q3, but I just about managed. And then, I mean, in the dry, I felt like on the alternate strategy, I felt like I was actually alright in terms of pace. If it stayed dry, maybe I could have gotten up a few positions. But then obviously the rain came and I was moving roadblock for everyone. I was hopeless, really. So I decided to gamble on the wits, and then the safety car sort of shafted me a wee bit in terms of that idea, but I was able to still gain a couple places with that, and then obviously with Jam and the on the Invers, I just had to try and get past them, and then just had to hold off Andres and Mids at the end. But yeah, I mean, at one point it looked like I was going to be finishing at the points, so I'll happily take that. I'll take a podium, especially with the lack of pace that I had in the wet. So yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Well, I can imagine you're pretty happy with that. You've managed to turn it around right at the end, making that inspired call to go to the wet tyres. But it's a podium here today. Do you think your pace will be a little bit stronger in the next few races and try and get back into the title hunt?
I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't actually know what track it is next. Was it? I think it's Silverstone. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
Silverstone. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm alright at Silverstone, but that's all of my best tracks. Sort of Japan, Abu Dhabi, and all that sort of. All of them sort of towards the end of the calendar. So I've just got to move through, just trying to get in consistent results if I can. Hopefully I can. I mean, before this race, I had a pretty terrible few races, even though some of them were my best tracks, like Spain and Monaco. Best tracks, did pretty terribly, but yeah, I think hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be a bit stronger in terms of pace over the next couple of races.
Well, cheers, Roller. Well done on the podium. We'll pass on to Merckx interviewing the second place man, SLR Ogwin.
Yeah, so Ogwin, you found yourself in second, obviously starting lower, slightly a few positions lower down in, I think it was P4 in qualifying. But you made those positions early on into second, and then you tried your best to close the gap, but in the end it wasn't enough. How would you assess that race for you?
Well, it was a decent race. I bored Mckeon. I invalidated the last corner, and it would have got me into second place, which is quite annoying because I would have been able to maybe stick with Corey at the start. But yeah, onto the race, got past Jam and F1 driver because they were on the hards. But I started mediums mainly because of Mitzi. So cheers, Mitzi. Yeah, the pace was alright. But
Yeah,
then the wet came. My interpace, it was pretty bad. Then the safety car came out, and I had quite a good pace on the wets. I got past Jam and Elite, I think it was, because they were struggling on the inters. But yeah, it was the okay race. Well into Corey though. He had the pace. He deserved to win.
How tricky was it to keep the car going in the right direction? On those especially those inters to wet conditions. A lot of people behind you were all over the place.
Yeah, the wets were fine because they had grip, but the inters were so bad. You couldn't put the throttle down at all, otherwise you just lose the back end. It was painful, but it paid off in the end, I guess.
Yeah, obviously you've extended your championship lead once again by a few points, and how do you assess the next couple of races?
Silverstone, I'm pretty good at. Did a race there a couple of weeks ago, so I hope it'll go okay there, and hopefully I can carry on extending the championship lead.
Yeah, well done on the second place, and hopefully we'll see more good races in the future. And we'll hand over to Simba for a race winner, SLR Corey.
Well, Corey, you finally did it. Fifth time, Mr. Charm, it seems. 5 pole positions, and you finally got your first win of the season. Congratulations. Talk us through your race because it seemed like you had everything under control out there.
Well, I'll try not to swear, but about effing time it came. Qualifying went to plan. I kind of bottled my final few runs, but it appears it was just about enough for pole position in the end. The race start, I kind of went off Division 2 on Friday with the weather. It was kind of like the same icon, so I was like, surely the medium just going to make it. The first thing was I felt fairly comfortable because, again, the cars behind me were mostly on hards, apart from Ogween, who kind of caught up to F1 driver. But yeah, going on to the intermediate stint, that was started to get very tricky very quickly. But I kind of adapted to it there and then saw Roller gamble for the wets, and then the first sector he gained like 2 seconds on the car ahead. So I was like, surely it's wets. And then thankfully a safety car came out right there and then, but my teammate pitted on that same lap as well. So I was a bit afraid I was going to come out behind Ogween, and then thankfully I came out ahead of the intermediates runners that gambled to stay out like elite, and that. But it was a very, very scary ending. But thankfully, in the end, I had it under control. Thankfully.
Yeah, that is your first one of the season. Your first, I think, since Imola last season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. So, do you think there'll be more wins to come in the future? And do you think this result now will definitely reassure you that you can definitely compete at the top order of the championship?
Definitely give me a bit of reassurance, that's for sure. I know the qualifying pace has been there as the pole position stat has improved this season, but hopefully I can get rid of that Saturday merchant nickname that became quite apparent to me this season.
Well, cheers, Corey. And yeah, that is all we've got time for Mckeon. Congratulations to the top 3 for an epic race and getting to the end of it. It was a battle of attrition out there. And yeah, we'll see you guys again for Mckeon action in the British Grand Prix, where it's coming home to Silverstone. And yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to Merckx because he's streaming this race, and I can't do the outro because that's just weird. So Merckx, over to you.
Yeah, that is it for Canada in the Mckeon division, but we have one more race, and that is tomorrow night for Division 1 at 7 p.m. You will see myself and Simba racing, probably myself failing and Simba being great. It's usually the theme, but less of me, more of SLR Corey. It's his night, his day, and he takes the honours, led from start to finish, as he won the Canadian Grand Prix. Good night.